Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this live coverage of the latest incidents and the latest events taking place. As the official American website Axios reported that Egypt, Qatar, and the United States presented the Israeli occupation and the Palestinian resistance group of Hamas a new proposal to reach and to implement on the ground a sustainable ceasefire to end the bloodshed in the occupied Palestinian territories. Also, Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati held a number of contacts to maintain the Israeli-Iranian ceasefire and to make sure that efforts are exerted on the ground to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East. To shed more light on all of this, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Mohamed Hegazy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much for being with us, sir, and a very good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Sir, after the new proposal presented by the mediators in Qatar to the Israeli side and to the Hamas side, do you see that we are closer to a ceasefire more than any other time, or still there are a number of other obstacles on the way?
I think we are advancing. The signing of a new agreement by both Egypt, Qatar, and the United States carried to Washington to present it to President Trump by the Foreign Minister and Prime Minister of Qatar, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman, is in itself a manifestation of the continuous efforts of the three mediators, and they reach out to both parties by a signed new agreement, which is now under discussion. As you mentioned in your report, Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati communicated by phone with Steve Witkoff, the American envoy to the region, and it seems that the last round of talks have witnessed an Israeli concession in regard to the early map that provoked a lot of discussions because of its intentional trial to make the presence of the Israeli troops complete in Gaza Strip as it is renewing its occupation. So the parties have refused the first map, the amended bill, and now this is the final version in which they said that Israel has given concession to the early map, and I hope that this will lead to a ceasefire that will stop the carnage in Gaza Strip and the Israeli continuous crime against all citizens, against all people, children or women, against the mosques and
against
churches.
Also the mosques even and churches. I mean the latest attack on the church even, which also killed a number of worshippers and targeting houses and shelters and tents. This is to add more to the anger of the international community at large, if you agree with me on this.
I agree, Armenia. President Trump himself spoke to the Prime Minister of Israel of committing this crime, which is not the first, by the way. This is the third in a row. Once they attack a church in the occupied Gaza Strip and they kill 16, and later on they attack different churches. So this is not the first of its kind. I will tell you, the intention of the Israelis is to attack all centers of Palestinian presence, being it mosques, being it hospitals, being it schools, being churches. They want to dismantle the link between the people and its utilities between the people and its presence in education, in health, in religious affairs, so that the people will be like the crowds you see in front of the food distribution center, which in itself a crime against humanity. And I hope that somebody will bring Israel accountable to what it's doing in Palestine, not only in Gaza. I think they are doing the same in the West Bank, and I'm sure that the world community should come here, because one can easily say that the world community are keeping silence, and this silence make Israel more aggressive, and they have full support of the United States under the pretext that they are redesigning the Middle East. And I don't think the use of military force will solve anything, but it will
redesigning the Middle East. Let me take it from here, sir, and to continue with what's going on, whether on the Israeli-Iranian side or the Israeli-Syrian side. Because also today, Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati held talks, or phone talks to be accurate, with David Lammy, his British counterpart, with Rafael Grossi, the IAEA chief, in addition to, of course, Abbas Araghchi, the Iranian foreign minister, to make sure that efforts on the ground to de-escalate the situation and to maintain the ceasefire between Iran and Israel are taking place on the ground, and not to slid the region into more violence or chaotic situation. How do you see all these things taken together in the very same moment, in the very same time?
Well, it is very important communication. David Lammy, of course, Britain has a very important role to play in the absence of any kind of reasonable interventions from the United States, which should be side to Israel in all aspects. So the situation between Iran and Israel, I have to say between Iran and the United States, using Israel as a party to this confrontation, is very important, because we are talking about nuclear facility, which we do not know what's inside. So it is logical that we call on a renewal of the relations and cooperation between Iran and the IAEA, and this will maybe lead to a reasonable offer to the Iranians, because you cannot really call the Iranians to give up their nuclear civil program, which is under the NPT, so it is under supervision of the International Atomic Organization. At the same time, it is civilians, the observers, and everybody is saying so, but pushing Iran to accuse it of developing a deterrent, a military strategic program is in itself an accusation that is not founded. So we have also to understand that Iran will never accept a program without the enrichment, because enrichment is a right given to all nations party to the NPT, but in a certain
and already Araghchi said that there is no agreement to be implemented on the ground without giving the Iranians the right for uranium enrichment for peaceful purposes, of course. But sir, if you permit me, I'm going to draw a triangle here. A triangle, aside, it's the Iranian, Israeli, American side, it's the Iranian European side, or Iranian E3 side, and the Iranian IAEA, or the Iranian International Community, or Iranian UN side. Which side of the three is really the one responsible for drawing the roadmap for settling this situation, or for putting an end to the differences among all?
The latest event shows that your triangle, Nermin, is not applicable in a fair way. Say Europe is fully against Iran. The United States have even attacked the program irresponsibly. And the IAEA has shown that it has taken sides. You cannot just accuse the Iranian of developing an atomic bomb or a deterrent without really a proof. So this triangle has to show some rationale to accept that the Iranian has the right to enrichment, but in a certain observed and supervised percentage. Like I think the international NPT, the non-proliferation treaty, gives the parties the right of enrichment under certain supervision circumstances, at the same time in the presence of the observers of the International Atomic Agency, and at the same time they limit the percentage of enrichment, give a fair offer to the Iranians stop sanctioning Iran, think about the security of Iran as well as you think of the security of Israel. And let me, Nermeen, take you to another dimension of our discussion. As you mentioned rightly, this triangle, which is not fair, by the way, to the Iranians, because the Iranians were on the table in Amman for the 6th round of talks, and they've been attacked. So what logic are we carrying to them in a new round of negotiation? The first one on the 6th round, where everybody was optimistic, they have attacked Iran. So we have to be logical. Iran and the international organ in charge has to develop certain confidence building measures that lead to a renewal of a negotiation that will allow the parties to make Iran again part of the Middle East security structure. And I take you to a proposition here. Why don't we think about a structure similar to this of Europe cooperation and security structure based on Helsinki 1975 principles, and to address it in the Middle East, where the security of Iran, security of Israel, and security of the whole nation living in the Middle East is observed according to certain rules and principles like those of Helsinki. And this new security structure based also on a solution to the Palestinian state, and
the core of the whole issue, the core of the conflict.
This array in the region is the Palestinian, and if you really need business, we have to call a third conference. What is the third conference to meet? The first is the reconstruction and early recovery that Egypt is calling with the UN after the ceasefire. The second is the two-state solution conference with France and Saudi Arabia following on the 27th of this month in New York. And the third is a peace and security conference in the Middle East that will observe the rights of all the people living in this region and all the states to live side by side in a peaceful structure.
Sir, as usual, I enjoyed our discussion. Thank you very much for your input, sir. Have a very good afternoon. We were very much delighted and honored to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Mohamed Hegazy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Right after the short break, I'm going to turn back with our top stories of the hour.